What's going on, ladies and gents? Welcome back to another Silver and Blood video. We got ourselves a big one, guys. As a matter of fact, two big ones in one pair. It's pretty crazy. Brand new character trailer reveal has been dropped, and we are in for a surprise. So check this out with me and listen. I'm a big goon. I'm gonna say it. It is what it is. But these girls right here, who look maybe like their sisters, are coming in hot. And there you guys go. Lorelei, I think it's Lorelei. The Callous Sage. It looks like it's one character with two different maybe personalities or two different people. Nonetheless, we got four big assets coming together, guys. Brand new character drop reveal is going to be happening. And with that being said, there's actually going to be a code as well that comes not with her specifically, but with something else. But we're going to talk about her real quick and just kind of give you guys a general sense of her background. So we are children who belong nowhere, so home is wherever our family is. Gypsy style, maybe? I don't know. 11 years ago, a shipwreck left a drifting branch of the Landis family stranded on Sapphire Isle. There, Lorelei found a new home. She learned to live as humans do, to speak as they speak, believing those simple days might last forever, until the black blood swept across the isle, until a bell ringer reduced her second home to ash. You can guess who that probably is. And until the ones she once called family became the very ones who caged her kin. With no choice but to kill, she fought to restore balance between both sides. Humans had given her warmth and bound her with sin. The land had offered her shelter and became the grave where she buried her soul. Pretty damn cool, man. Pretty damn cool. Now, with that being said, guys, there is also a brand new code and event coming. I'm going to show you guys real quick right here. You guys can follow the Twitter at any time. So make sure you guys use this code. It's right here. If you are an AP player, this is your code here. If you are a US and other regions player, this is the code over here. Now, they're going to have a brand new summer event. That's right. Vampires and Sun. Try to figure that one out for me. So vampires have always been associated with night, cold, and ancient castles. Do you ever wonder how they spend their scorching summers? Yeah, usually in coffins, from my understanding. Do they sip blood orange juice under parasols by the beach, or hide in refrigerator coffins to escape the heat? That's what I would have thought. Do they venture out fully covered under the sun, or throw parties indoors in light attire? Their summer is yours to imagine. If you love drawing and creating, stay tuned for upcoming illustration content. So this is coming up very soon. Please use the code. Now, the whole point of this video is to give you guys the top 3 units of every class. So let's get into that. All right, folks, welcome back. So we're going to talk about the best units for every single class. We're going to go break down all the tanks, all the DPS, all the sorcerers, all the supports, etc., and which ones are the top 3 in each of their categories, respectively, and who you want to build first. Of course, this is going to matter a lot. You guys can always go check out the tier list that is available to you. Some people prefer this format because it gives you a little better of a breakdown and explanation. So I'm going to go ahead and do this for you guys. I've got every single character pretty much almost to the point where they're mostly pretty high up. Some of them are even maxed out. And I've got a pretty general sense of who you want to focus on and why. Okay, so let's go ahead over here and we're going to look at the actual equipment. The classes, not the factions. We're going to now focus on equipment, just strictly classes. Okay, so warriors. Let's talk about warriors. There's a couple here that stand out above the rest. First one we're going to talk about is Transcendent Hattie. So Hattie over here is probably the best dot character in the game, probably the best physical damage dealer in the game, and also a must-have for anyone who wants to do a dot team. Dot teams are incredible for bosses. They take a lot of HP away, and specifically with her, she actually has the ability to do continuous damage and then also has this thing called Pestilence. So if Pestilence hits, it takes P damage equal to 50% of her attack every 2 seconds. She gains attack speed. They gain attack speed down as a debuff, and that stacks up to 10 times. So you can imagine how fast this is going to stack on bosses and how much damage you can possibly do. So really, really good on long battles and very, very powerful overall. It actually does a fairly decent amount of AoE for a physical damage dealer. So she is a must-have. Of course, being a transcendent unit makes it a little tougher, but great for that. Now, Augustin actually is great for PvP for a couple of reasons. Number one, he has a pull-in passive, which essentially when he starts the battle, he'll pull in the unit that's furthest away close to him, and then does incredible damage on that as well too. So that's pretty good for PvP purposes. And then Octavia, if you plan to run a magic team, she's a incredibly good unit for this specifically because she also does magic damage taken up on the opponent with medium, so moderate, which is increasing the magic damage taken by 30%. So she's really, really good for that. She also does fairly decent DPS and also dispels all buffs on targets hit and applies that debuff. So this is really good on opponents who are casting a lot of buffs on themselves or for PvP purposes as well too. So keep that in mind. Now also, when her HP falls below 50%, she becomes untargetable for 4 seconds and gains 60% lifesteal allowing her to gain some of her HP back while doing damage and keeping people debuffed for opponents to do incredible damage. So these two here are my favorites. The other third one here that's actually not bad, and this is up to you which way you want to go. I think Jonas is actually fairly decent because of one reason. She has induction. When applied, she deals 60% attack damage to a random target within 3.5 meters. After reaching 8 stacks, it converts to 3-second stun. So really, really good for a dot team again, and works very well with, believe it or not, with T-Hattie as well for dots. So if you plan to run a dot team, these three here are actually really, really good to use. Risa's not bad. Augustine, again, more for PvP in my opinion, but those three are going to be probably your best warriors that you currently have in the game. All right, let's move on to the next class here and talk a little bit about the assassin class. Now, this class over here has quite a few options, and they're all fairly good, to be honest. So first off, my favorite out of all three of these, believe it or not, has now become Hattie herself, the regular version, only because of her rush abilities and her stun abilities and the fact that she taunts. So you guys can see right over here, she rushes towards the target. So it lets you, and it's a big rush, guys, right? It's a huge rush. And the beauty of this is the fact that she gets to get the target down, for attack down for the target that she attacks, which lets her taunt and then take less damage. And then over here, you guys can see the taunt also stops anyone from casting ultimates or specials during this effect. This actually does work on bosses. So very useful, and people should not neglect her. And you guys can see the damage down here is 30% on moderate as well, right? So you guys, we can see as well here, she rushes into battle, dealing 575% attack to the first enemy unit hit, marks down the target and applying all damage down on them again. And then right over here, you guys can see she does fairly decent damage, physical damage. And then lastly, when HP falls below 40% for the first time, she immediately restores HP equal to 8% of her max HP and gains Bloodthirst permanently, which gives her a lifesteal and damage dealt increase. So this is a unit you should not sleep on. Very versatile, very good at controlling the field, amazing for battles where you need to reach units right from the beginning, or whether it's a healer or a mage in the back that's kind of screwing you over with AoEs. She is a must-have unit, and I'm glad because she's actually a really big part of the story. All right, next up here we have ourselves Mass. If you are looking to do what her name says, mass amount of damage in a short period of time, she is a kamikaze unit. Once you get her ultimate up, what she does is the damage scales with Mass's HP percentage up to a maximum of 2,415 attack. When Mass casts her ultimate, she gains a shield equal to 30% of her max HP, but dies when the ultimate ends. So this is a big one. The more HP she has, the more damage you will do. Not to be mistaken with the boss's HP. Some people are mistaken. It's not based on that. It's based off of her own HP. Now the special goes hand in hand with this. She just teleports the opponent, and then she'll do damage while she's waiting, physical specifically, and apply Spark, and Spark does 50% more ultimate damage on her behalf. And then lastly over here, when the battle begins, the cost of her ultimate is reduced by 1 for every 3 seconds. You guys can see it's very costly at the start, but goes down fairly quickly. And as long as she has her HP, guys, you'll be rock and rolling and killing things super quick with her. Great for Night of the Hunt bosses specifically, or if you're looking just to kill ads quick with the rest of your team being alive. All right, and then lastly for me, it's going to be Spectral Gilrain. Love this character. Love this character. The reason why behind it is he, number one, he targets units that are further away, which is always nice. He does a conal attack. He does more damage for non-boss units, right? And you guys can see here, 1,610 attack for non-boss units below 15% HP, so pretty much an execute, and then 1,035 attack for boss units. So the lower the HP of the enemies, the harder he hits. And if for every shadow apparition he has, this value will increase by 5%. If any enemy is eliminated by the skill, Gilrain summons an extra shadow apparition, which inherits 50% of his base attributes. He's actually really good, and this actually makes him very tanky as well. So when the battle begins, Gilrain teleports to the farthest enemy in the range of target, dealing 345% physical attack, and marks summons a new target, then summons the shadowy apparition, which inherits 50% of his attributes, right? So again, every time I use him, I'm very surprised at how much he tanks because the shadow apparitions do take some of that damage. So when Gilrain's HP falls below 50%, sacrifice one of the apparitions to restore 25% of his HP and become untargetable for 2 seconds. So again, fairly tanky unit for an assassin. Okay, so those are my top 3 assassins there. All right, next up, let's go over to tanks. So 3 best tanks in the game, easily, by far. Bella, Tiami. You can choose whichever one you want to go with. Bella's, in my opinion, my favorite, only because of a couple of reasons. Number one, she has an ultimate which summons a massive elite mob that comes down and stuns opponents. And then also, Joyce inherits 80% of Bella's base attributes and lasts for 15 seconds. And Joyce actually is crazy tanky and does actually do quite a bit of work. And then also when she starts the battle, she summons 2 animated pets for every 8 seconds for 20 seconds. The pets will have 56% of her attack as well as 56% of her defense and HP. So the more you give her, the more they get, right? So very, very good way to start the battle where you're not even taking damage, just the puppets are, and they can be shielded and healed, so that makes a bonus there as well too. And you can see every 2 seconds allied summons gain healing equal to 5% of Bella's max HP. So she and any other allies who have any summons will benefit greatly with her. So summon teams are really, really good with Bella. All right, next up we have ourselves Frederick. I'm actually a big fan of Frederick. I've been using him more often. Creates a shield equal to 55% of Frederick's max HP that lasts for 12 seconds and deals 300% attack to all enemies in a circle around him. I'm actually really enjoying this character. I've been trying to get his levels up and kind of just using him around and testing him. Actually, fairly decent tank too. Activates once every 4 basic attack, deals 150% attack to the target, and grants a shield equal to 50% of his HP, lasting for 10 seconds. He's super, super tanky, believe it or not. And then when shielded, gains magic damage taken down. Great for anytime you're fighting magic teams, especially with casters. And then the shield, of course, will go down instead of his HP, and then he'll take less damage in general. So pretty damn good tank. And then, of course, we're talking the best 2 here. It's going to be Transcendent Amy. A little harder to get, but amazing character. So she transforms nearby land of spirits into a land of phantom, which envelops Amy, who gains all damage taken down moderate. So every damage is taken down, whether it's magic or physical. And then she also pushes people back and kind of gathers them together and then also stuns them. And afterwards deals a massive amount of damage. And then they reset all targets for both Amy and surrounding enemies. So very, very good at disturbing the entire field. Incredible for that. Decree the Fallen Sovereign activates every 2 basic attack, generates 1 untargetable land of spirit nearby, up to a maximum of 3. All land of spirits deal 345% attack to the target, recovering HP equal to the damage dealt. So very, very tanky and very good at surviving. And then with 1 and 2 land of spirits, gains magic damage taken down, minor. With 3 land of spirits, gets magic taken down, moderate. So incredible tank. The top 2 by far are Bella and Tiami, and then I put Frederick second. Honestly, the other 2 are fine as well too. Really good at surviving, good at taunting, and doing physical defense down. But I think these 3 are my favorite so far. Okay, let's go back in and finish up the rest. Sorry, guys. We have ourselves probably my favorite class, 2 favorite classes left. We have the sorceress and the marksman. Marksman, honestly, you really don't have much options here. The best 3 are going to be Van Helsing, number 1, by far best damage dealer in the game, in my opinion, still, or one of the Noah, who's also incredible. But unfortunately, the Transcendent unit. And then lastly, I would say Triss. So all 3 of these, Triss is a great single target damage dealer. Noah is a great AoE damage dealer, and Van Helsing does everything just well. So these 3 here are going to probably be your best ones. Just focus on them. There's not too many other options. Let's go back for a second, actually. Sheila's not a bad choice. The biggest thing with her, though, Selena. Selena's not a bad choice. The biggest thing with her, though, is she's really good on a stun team. So you want to definitely build a stun team around her, and she'll do much, much better with her shadow marks. But you definitely want to build a niche stun team around her, okay? And then we have ourselves the sorceress. This is pretty straightforward here, guys. You can't get better than these 3 here, but there's a lot of good options. Lamia, best DPS in the game, next to Van Helsing, I'd say. Next up, I would say Theobald for the massive crit resist down. And then, of course, we have ourselves Agris or Cecilia. These 3 are incredible. These 4 options are incredible. Agris is actually really good himself. Lamine is really amazing as well, too. But when it comes down to the top 3, I go with Lamia, Theobald, and Insidious, Agris. Those probably are three of the best ones to go for. And then lastly, we have ourselves the healing class. And then that one right there, or the buffing class, healing and buffing, is pretty straightforward here, guys. Honestly, the 4 here are impeccable, but they all have different roles. Acapella is the best buffer in the game, plus off healer, and also really does blood recovery. Starry Ione is great for shielding, of course, best shielder in the game, and also provides a shield from the beginning of the battle, plus has a gather option. Del Carlo does great CC and some decent debuffs, and then Seth is by far the best healer in the game. So it depends on what you're looking for, but these 4 here are no-brainers. You can choose any of the 2 combinations here, and they'll all work really well. The best combinations, though, in my opinion, are Acapella and Starry-Eyed Ione. Those are probably the best ones. So there you guys have it. Those are the best classes, each unit of each class in the game. Let me know what you guys think. Love to hear your comments. Remember to subscribe, like. I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.